Will the new season pass card drive your opponent? Cuckoo, find out what's going on as I hereby invite everyone to join me on my adventures through Marvel Snap. Hey everybody, it's Annabelle. So this season we get to talk about the new X-Men, and one of the main characters in the new X-Men is going to be Esme Cuckoo. Esme Cuckoo is one of the Stepford Cuckoos. Some time ago, Emma Frost had her genes stolen by a weapons program to create thousands of identical mutant girls in the hope of developing a powerful weapon capable of killing every mutant on Earth by combining their telepathic abilities. She belongs to a set of orphaned mutants that are physically linked quintuplets. These girls were put into an incubation tube and artificially aged. The alphabetical order of their first names corresponds with their ages, making her the second oldest of these five. Esme Cuckoo was lucky enough to be found and sent to the Xavier Institute with her sisters to hone their skills and talents. They call themselves the 5-in-1, even though they are actually only 5 of many clone daughters that got made for the project. No one knows how many of the girls got made, but all of the clones have a link to the telepath Emma Frost. All of these girls were intended to return and join their sisters one day, and while most of the girls still remain dormant, many worry what might happen if more of these sisters awake. Esme Cuckoo and her sisters work together as a group to manipulate and control the vast amounts of cognitive and perceptive abilities they receive together. On top of each one trying to vastly expand their physical and psychic powers individually. The 5 girls are quite similar in terms of how they speak and how they act. The girls are not always on the same page with each other, and they will occasionally have an argument from time to time. But for the most part, each and every day, they act the same and do everything together as a group. Esme Cuckoo is the most conniving and cunning of her sisters. She has a hard time feeling unique as she knows that she is just a clone. However, each one is different and will demonstrate different interests and personality traits when they are not all together. She is the most brazen one, and she is the most likely to take control over the hive mind of the other sisters. But she is also the most selfish of the girls. She is focused on her needs and desires regardless of who gets hurt or killed in the crossfire. And this will include her family, causing even her own sisters to resent her. Esme Cuckoo is a mutant with psychic and mind-based power similar to her biological mother, Emma Frost. The girls have a linked hive mind which allows them to share thoughts and maintain a constant telepathic connection between them. This also allows them to have increased telepathic strength and shared intellect. The power of the hive mind is greater than the sum of any of its parts, and the link is strongest when the girls are in close proximity. The strongest personality will lead the hive mind, but the girls still maintain their personal independence. Esme Cuckoo is one of a group of clones of Emma Frost. They all want to find each other and share in a power with each other. This is represented in Marvel Snap as she will go out and find someone to share a power with who will be a clone of both her power and her strength. So in Marvel Snap, what she does is she is a 3 cost of 4 power with the description upon reveal. She will go through your deck and copy one of the cards from your deck, and then she will set that card's cost to 3, and power to 4. In Marvel Snap, I believe that she's about a 3-star rating. Let me go over some of the reasons why I feel that she ended up at a 3-star rating. I bring up her sheet here real quick. So we got the hair sitting here, and she's basically the equivalent of a Cyclops. And while she's just the power and the strength of Cyclops, that's a lot to say that she's not that good when she really is. If you look at her as absolutely positively nothing more than just a wave, for one other card in your deck, it's fine. You're losing one power off of a wave. Especially if you draw the card the next turn. You're not guaranteed to draw that card the next turn because it kind of works the same way that the Iron Patriot works, where she becomes a copy of it and then sets that card in your deck, but you're not guaranteed to draw it next turn unless it's the last card in your deck, of course. But even if you just consider it kind of like a wave for your own personal stuff that's remaining in your deck, that's one less power than wave with none of the drawbacks of your opponent getting to do the same turn. Well, it's obvious that you want to use this with stuff like Iron Man, where you want to bring down his cost and bring up his power, or even stuff like Thor, where you want to bring down his cost and bring up his power. Even cards that you don't think would make a ton of sense with her, like Onslaught, are perfectly fine with her. While Onslaught would be good as a 3/4 also, you're losing the 4 power off the Onslaught, but the ongoing effect is well worth the fact that you're losing that 4 power. Even stuff as simple as the Black Panther. Yes, you're losing 1 power off the Black Panther, but you get to play the Black Panther a turn earlier if you draw it next turn, and you're already pumping her up to a 4/8 by doing that. While her effect isn't the greatest when you think about stuff like the Wong, because unless she finds an on reveal, her ability won't really trigger twice. She won't find one card and gain the text, and then find another card and gain the text. As soon as she gains the text as a first card, if it is an activate card, she'll activate that effect. If it's not an activate, like it's an ongoing, nothing's going to happen. One of the things that you might be interested in seeing in her and might be played with her from time to time is even something like Doom. Doom's not that great, and not that poor either. And when you look at the stats part to point, it comes into the same factor as basically the Doom also. But then you can get the Doom bots with her. One of the other things you might want to look at is cards that usually have a high cost because of their effect in the game. Like, for example, Leech. Leech usually has to be played on 4 because of how powerful it is to play any turn faster than 4. With getting this in the Cuckoo deck, you would actually bring it out on 3, and you would lose no power off the actual Leech itself. One of the other things that you might want to look at is simply the Brood, because, of course, Cuckoo herself is a 3. This gives the Brood the +2 power, gives you 3 extra Cuckoos, which are also 4s themselves, which is really good for an Iron Man deck. Sorry, not an Iron Man deck, a Silver Surfer deck. I don't know why I said Iron Man deck. Even though you can go big, you can also go little. Cards like Adam Warlock are perfectly fine for her decks that she runs. While it goes up 1 in cost, it goes up 4 in power. So, all in all, there's not too many cards out there that are bad things for her to get in your deck. Now, obviously, if your opponent throws a rock at you, or if you somehow are playing Original Hulk in your deck, you're not going to want to play the Cuckoo in there. It makes no sense. So as long as you don't purposely go out of your way to do something silly like that, you should be fine. And that's one of her only downfalls. If somehow your opponent throws a rock at you or puts something in your deck that you don't want to have in your deck, then you can get that as the ability. Also, if for some reason you have to run some low power card just to ramp you up, like say Psylocke, it's not that good for her to turn into a Psylocke. So do watch how you build your decks, but it doesn't take much to make her a good card no matter what she pulls. Anyways, I want to thank you all so much for watching, and as always, remember, push for fun.